So my name is Nahum Gurma, and I'll be discussing about law and Ubuntu in this session, which is a reflection of the entire law and Ubuntu session with Professor Sylvester Siri. So introduction to law and Ubuntu. So in our first session with Professor Sylvester Siri, we have been invited to rethink justice, not just as the legal framework, but as the moral compass. And we explored how the USA legal system is shifting from foundational universal natural rights and duties towards legal positivism, which this shift favors homo economos, individual autonomy, over homo moralis, or the moral human connected to the common good, which is the shared common good. So it's shifted from a collective view to an individual autonomy, giving power to individual. So transformation of the legal philosophy in the US. So historical legal foundations in the US. The US legal philosophy was rooted in the universal natural rights and duties promoting the common good, and is now currently shifting to legal positivism, which is a recent trend which prioritizes confided laws and individual autonomies over communal responsibilities. So in this session with Professor Sylvester Osiri, we delved into evolving nature of legal philosophy of the United States. So historically speaking, the United States legal system was grounded in the principle of the universal rights and duties aimed at promoting common good. However, the recent shifts indicate a move towards legal positivism, which prioritizes and confines laws and individual autonomy over communal responsibilities. And what we are currently seeing, which the transformation reflects a broader sectorial alignment with the concept of homo economos rather than homo moralis, which homo economos is an individual driven by self-interest in economic gain rather than the counterpart homo moralis, who acts based on ethical consideration and the sense of duty to others. So Professor Orsi emphasizes that this philosophical shift has profound implication on how the laws are interpreted and enforced, so often sidelining moral reasoning and collective will. So the emphasis on autonomy, which is disconnected from the common good, challenges the foundational value of justice and equality, making it crucial to reassess the role of law in forecasting societal harmony. So what are the consequences of legal positivism? So the consequences that what happens when the law loses its soul, we see that the consequences are all around us, which is the first one, systemic discrimination, where peoples are discriminated based on their color or based on other prejudice facts. So the other is unchecked corruption and environmental destruction, the tragic failure to protect citizens from gun violence. These are all just not policy failures, but they are failures of moral failures. They reflect a society that has forgotten its duty to care for others and more driven and focused by individual desire. So the Ubuntu philosophy and how I think it can be a hopeful alternative for this is the Ubuntu philosophy offers a different path. It's not just a philosophy, but a way of life. So Ubuntu says, I am because we are, and it teaches that human beings flourish through cooperation, empathy, and shared responsibility. In Africa, communities we see in Ubuntu lived every day is how neighbors care for one another and how the elders guide the youth and how healing is a communal, not individual. So the principles and real life applications of Ubuntu. So Ubuntu is an African philosophy that encapsulates the phrase I am because we are, which offers a compelling alternative to individual legal paradigms and which is prevalent in the US and in the West generally. So Ubuntu emphasizes cooperation, empathy, and shared humanity, advocating for society where individuals thrive through mutual support, not individuals, not as an individual, but individuals thrive because of the mutual support and collective responsibility. And the modern scientific research now validates that African wisdom has long upheld human flourishing community settings that foster collaboration and emotional connection. So in our class, in the discussions we have, and in the lectures Professor Osiri highlighted that various real-life applications of the Ubuntu within the African society, including community healing circles that address trauma through collective dialogues, shared responsibilities in villages where tasks are distributed based on communal needs, not individual needs, and collective child rearing practices that ensure every child is nurtured by the community. So, respect for the elders and adherence to mutual tradition and further reinforcement of the value and duty and unity. So, these examples demonstrate that Ubuntu is not merely a philosophy but an ideal, a livable reality that promotes social cohesion and moral integrity. So, by embracing Ubuntu, societies can counteract the fragmentation caused by excessive individuals and build more just and compassionate worlds. So, Ubuntu is the only way. So I have seen Ubuntu in my own life, and my family, and my classmates, and in the ways that we support one another through challenges. And reminder just that this is a reminder that justice begins with connection. So today we offer a message to the world that me, you, thank you for your time. So as I conclude this exploration of law and Ubuntu session and class, it is essential to reflect that the transformative power of Ubuntu. And from the classroom discussion with Professor Sylvester Orsis to real life testimonies, we've seen how Ubuntu fosters purpose, unity, and care. And it challenges us to move beyond self interest and embrace a worldview rooted in empathy and collective well being. So the phrase me, you, and Ubuntu encapsulates this spirit, serving as a hopeful message for the world. It reminds us that our identities and destinies are intertwined, and true progress comes from work together. Whether it's a legal system, community practices, and personal relationships, Ubuntu offers a path towards more inclusive and compassionate society. So let us carry this message forward and communicate building where justice and humanity go hand in hand. So join us in saying me, you, Ubuntu.